Downs Gaming and Hotel, we work extremely hard to make your experience here convenient, safe, and fun.
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We love it!
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We don't just like Batavia Downs Gaming, we love Batavia Downs Gaming.
Batavia Downs Gaming, Hotel, and Racetrack. We not only want you to like coming here, we want you to love coming here!
Folks, and we love when you tune into the show where it is not wrestling with your budget, it is not wrestling with your conscience, it is wrestling with emotion. Brought to you by Batavia Downs, the region's premier entertainment destination. Get there, get involved in the handicapping challenge they have going all the way in the run-up to the Kentucky Derby, and of course, they have that calendar packed, chock full of events. Get to @Batavia Downs on all socials to see what they have in the coming weeks. But we're not worried about the coming weeks, gents. We're worried about tonight. We have AEW Dynasty. And like we've said for probably AEW the last 3 to 5 shows, a big show in the landscape of AEW and everything going on there. How are we feeling going into it tonight? Head of the table, Michael Partham.
I mean, the matches themselves should be action-packed and maybe expect 1 or 2 advancements of storylines to be here. But honestly, you know, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 matches, maybe you guys will tell me different, but everything here just feels a little bit mid. I mean, again, AEW craps out great, 5-star matches, according to someone at least, on a regular basis. But something about this card, with the exception of a couple of championship matches, is just kind of paint by the numbers. I mean, you guys were telling me in our pre-show, a little too many Owen Hart quarterfinal matches, which, in my opinion, are a little too easy to predict. What about you, Jake? I
could have done without the Owen matches on this because it's like, unless it's the finals or even I guess the semifinals, like I feel like the first round, there is stakes to it. So with that, you can make the claim, yes, there are stakes to this match, so they matter, whatever. But it doesn't feel like it. The brackets just came out Wednesday. It's not like there's been any build towards. Even if the brackets came out a week earlier and we could have gotten a build towards these matches a little bit, might have been a little better. So that was a little bit too much. I do think there are 4 strong matches on this card, and I think that that's more than enough to be worthy of a good pay-per-view. And I think there's some chances to surprise us here. I'm interested in the 6-man tag. I think the 4 matches, we all know the 4 matches. We'll get into everything, but I think there's a couple that could be surprising. But honestly, we're here. I'm excited for this pay-per-view today because I'm interested in the main event angle and to see what direction the lead dog will be, what direction we will be heading towards into All In, because this is really like, if we're thinking of, WrestleMania season with Royal Rumble kicking off right now, this is kind of kicking off All In season. Double or Nothing is obviously a big show for them. It was their first pay-per-view event as a company. That's going to be big stakes, but whoever's champion tonight is probably champion going into All In. So big night tonight for the main event picture more than anything. And we've got a lot of different variables that I'm sure we're going to get into. So
a lot of variables. I mean, you could argue that between May and basically August of the last 5 years, it's been a push between WWE and AEW. I would not say that WWE has crushed them over the summer months. Obviously, recent success says otherwise. But any final thoughts before we get into AEW Dynasty predictions?
Well, there's
Parthy's saving the reserves, I was going to say.
Yeah. There's a couple of matches on the pre-show, and one in particular has a bit of a mystery guest. Shall we start there? Because I'd like to hear your predictions. I have my own. I'd imagine we share the same guy.
All right.
I think
guess
we probably
will
do.
Start on the pre-show. We'll bring up Max Caster versus TBA. All right. Well, why don't we go right to left here? Parthy, start us off. Who do you got?
Hey,
we don't want anyone stealing your pick.
That's best wrestler alive, Max Caster, to you, buddy.
Best wrestler alive, for sure. That's why he's on the show.
But seriously, I mean, there's been a certain someone that's supposedly been signed to AEW for maybe a month or 2 now. We haven't seen a peep of him yet, but I expect him to make his debut here. I'm going to call my shot, Josh Alexander, to be the one squashing Max Caster in this open challenge.
Oh, that's a good call. I wasn't thinking Josh Alexander. I do like that. I guess on the pre-show, I'm not expecting it, but I'm just waiting for when Bowens is the one to come out for one of these. So I don't know if it'll be tonight, but that's what this I feel like is all leading towards. But I hope it goes for the next year for the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler. I want to be at least All Out in Chicago.
Why
yelling,
exactly
"Let's go,
are they
Max.
holding
You're the best
Bowens back
wrestler
from
alive."
this
That's what I'm wondering.
feud? Is he
I'm
been
wondering
injured?
if they're
Is he
saving it for a big moment, like because when it happens, I guess it really sets off the feud. So it's the night, and then you get a match at Double or Nothing. But that's still even like almost
sure,
2
it's
months away from tonight.
It might
so
be a
who
good idea
knows?
to hold him back and wait until All In to do that match, whether it's on the show or a pre-show or whatever. But like, what's the on-screen
It
reason
would be a
for
fun
Anthony
spot for
Bowens
a
not being
debut. I
there?
like that.
What's the on-screen reason for Anthony Bowens not showing up and
I don't
getting
really
into it with Max
know.
Caster? Exactly.
Not only
I think
has
it's
Max
like
Caster,
I think they just like all broke up. And then they just like disappeared, and Max has just been like, okay, well, I'm the best wrestler alive, so I'm gonna do my shit. And then I don't know what the other two have done. What were you gonna say, Maniac?
we did have a Bowens reference the other day. So since you guys have kind of teased it around the fringe of it, I'll just guess Bowens. Either way, Max Caster is losing this match. None of these open challenges have gone on longer than 2 minutes. Best wrestler alive. I mean, maybe in WWE Speed. Maybe that's where Max Caster's future. But yeah, no, Max Caster. I don't know. Maybe this is the blow-off point and we get completely bamboozled, but I think we're all taking TBA. I have Slick's picks as well. So everyone's on whoever the opponent is, correct?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, just making sure. So we're 1 for 1 there. And then let's knock out the other match on the pre-show. Speaking of a reshuffling, Nick Wayne and CRU, Action Andretti and Leo Rush versus AR Fox and Top Flight. I will start off here. I don't think any of the guys on the left need a win. I think all the guys on the right need a win. So I will go with AR Fox, Dante Martin, and the Martin boys. Michael, what do you got for this one?
I'm with you. I'm going with AR Fox and Top Flight. Nick Wayne, I feel like there's probably some Nick Wayne melodrama in this match. Maybe Kip Sabian comes out there and they get into a little argument about something. I don't know what's going. Nick Wayne and his little rebellious phase in the patriarchy. I don't know if it's like going to be full rebel or if he's ready to go out on his own yet, or if this is just him spreading his wings a little bit and he's going to get reeled back in. But that's what I expect. I expect Kip to like cost him the match for some reason, and AR Fox and Top Flight get the win. Probably Dante.
I'm a little surprised because Nick Wayne's in a little bit of a trying to topple Christian Cage's regime mode, not overtly right now. We haven't seen Christian Cage ever since they had their little spat on screen for whatever reason, and that hasn't really been explained thus far. But you could see that they're trying to, even if it's coming out of nowhere, they're trying to push Nick Wayne as the next guy within the patriarchy and maybe even take over the patriarchy. So it seems to me that he needs to win more than AR Fox and Top Flight, who are just showing up, as far as I'm concerned, to just take a pinfall. Nick Wayne is really the key factor in here, and I think they're trying to give him momentum. So I'm going with Nick Wayne and CRU.
Okay, so we have our first split. We got 3 of us on. We have because Slick was on AR Fox and Co. But Parthy will go out on a limb, taking Nick Wayne and CRU. Then we are into the main show. So listen, I love our viewers' time. I value it very much. Micah alluded to it. Parthy alluded to it. The quarterfinal matches: Ospreay, Monet, Fletcher.
Ospreay, Monet, Fletcher.
Okay.
Let's keep it moving along here.
No need. Listen, I ain't gonna add time. I value our viewers' time. I think those all could be quality matches. Those could all be.
I'm very excited specifically Ospreay and Kevin Knight. They're going to try to do some crazy shit, some crazy high flying nonsense.
I agree. I think they will be up to no good in those ones. But as far as our predictions, I mean, I can't remember a time in Wrestling with Emotion history where all 3 of us were on the same pick, or the entire panel was on the same pick across the board. But with that said, let's get into we got basically gold across the board for the rest of the matches. So we're in a great spot. Let's get into it. The AEW tag titles. They've been hurting people and they've been cashing checks. Bobby Lashley and Shelton. Bobby
We
Lashley,
hug people.
it's kind of like they come from like a different generation, even though they're like obviously not that different in age. But with MVP versus the Learning Tree, I don't know if you guys know, but Big Bill could main event a WrestleMania. The Learning Tree,
Big
Bill and Brian Keith.
Big Bill and Bobby Lashley. That could
Yeah,
be a
now
WrestleMania main event.
that could be a main event. Now you could really cook. If only they were, in the same place as single stars at the same time. The Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree. Parthy, why don't you start us off? Who you got? And we'll go across the board.
The Hurt Syndicate are being presented like stars, and I don't expect the Learning Tree to take the tag titles off of them. I don't expect the tag titles to come off these guys anytime soon. But the real X factor in this is who's not officially in the match, but might interject himself, and that's MJF, who's looking to prove himself to Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate as a whole. Now, the Hurt Syndicate shouldn't need any help beating the freaking Learning Tree. But Jericho might make his presence felt, even though he has business elsewhere tonight, and we'll get to that in a second. But that's the only thing I could see is Jericho comes down to try to tilt the odds in the Learning Tree's favor, and MJF comes out to sort of run Jericho off, running into his old friend Chris Jericho. That would be an interesting interaction. But I mean, unless the guy's already in the match, try like there's a ref bump and they try to, bring out some toys to kind of even the odds, and MJF just prevents them from doing that. I don't think MJF needs to help win this match for the Hurt Syndicate, but he needs to prevent somebody else from trying to win it by nefarious means. So either way, I'm going Hurt Syndicate.
I'm very interested in how MJF either involved in this match. I'm assuming this match seems like the most likely place, or just in this show as a whole. So we'll see what that is. But for this match, it was supposed to be Brian Cage and Lance Archer before Brian Cage got hurt, which sucks for Brian Cage that it was about to have a nice pay-per-view tag title match to get hurt. So hope he gets better soon. But Big Bill and Brian Keith getting a huge spot. So shout out to Brian Keith. He's an awesome wrestler. I think this will be a good match, but I'm going with the Hurt Syndicate as well because they hurt people.
They do hurt people. And yeah, again, that's a big factor too. You get people kind of reshuffled into a spot, especially a championship spot. It's hard to think they're going to be victorious. Like whoever faces Randy Orton at WrestleMania, like, does anybody think they're winning at this point? Like, of course, no chance because they're getting shuffled in here at the last second. I will go with the Hurt Syndicate to keep standing on business, as some would say, and continuing their big run. By the way, the one thing about AEW or WWE, if they take the other person's guy, they're gonna or female, they're gonna make them a star. When they come over to theirs, they will make them a star. I'll say that. That's consistent for sure. They're putting their stolen poached goods on the pedestal for sure. Speaking of poached goods, speaking of someone who's been in WWE and AEW, title versus mask match for the ROH World Championship. Jericho, that no good SOB, the Nuevo, against Bandito. I'm sorry, I cannot pick Chris Jericho to win this match. I cannot pick a luchador to lose his mask. I am picking Bandito to become the new ROH World Championship, and it frees up Chris Jericho for maybe the beginning of his end in AEW. I am not saying he needs to go. I'm just saying I feel like he's elevated the ROH World Championship in his time. Give it to Bandito and let's run from there. What do you got, Micah?
Yeah, this is a really interesting match here. It's been a fun story. I think Jericho turning from the fun-loving Learning Tree into this spiteful Learning Tree leader that he's been has been a nice turn. It's also been a nice turn that he's not getting prominent TV time. It's just kind of like out of TV, out of commercial, pre-tapes, holding up Gravity's, head and doing his monologues and everything. It's been, I think, relatively entertaining for what it's been. But yeah, Bandito's going to get this done here. Jericho, I think it could be Maniac. I think it could be a point where he is at least lightening the schedule. But I don't think Jericho is a guy who's ever going to be off the screen, unfortunately. Probably like a guy who's like on commentary or running a stable or something like that. But Jericho, I feel like this year specifically has been more willing to take the step back when he needs to. And that's specifically with TV time. And I think this is an opportunity to put Bandito over huge, a guy that they wanted. Getting vignettes and all the stuff that Bandito got coming back, you would think it built up to this to win the ROH title. So.
Yeah, Bandito came back to much fanfare, like you said, Jake. That's why I'm expecting him to basically capture the ROH world title here. And this is Jericho's second run with the Ring of Honor title. And supposedly every time that they've given it to him, the idea has been maybe Tony is trying to shop out ROH for a TV deal or something. And he wants, a prominent champion to start it off with. But obviously that hasn't come to fruition. We haven't even heard whispers of that recently. So I think they're just going to have Bandito go over. I don't see him losing his mask, especially with the way that he's been presented so far.
That was Shane McMahon's plan, to put Jericho at the head of the company and shop him out. He's tried the same thing in 2002. But yeah, wait. So do we all have Bandito, or where'd you go?
Yes.
Okay. So I to be honest, when I picked Bandito, I did not think we were going to be sweeping across the board, but that is exactly what we have. Again, we have 5 sweeps, and then we have Parthy on Nick Wayne and CRU at the beginning of that match. So we'll see. But a lot of same predictions of the card. Let's keep moving on. Let's see who got. Let's go for this one. Only because I do think I think this will be a classic match. I think this will be great. I want to go rated FTR, but I just don't think the Death Riders are quite done yet. And I don't think it's going to be a big comeuppance all at once. I think that there's going to be a struggle at the top of AEW for power. But for now, the Death Riders retain the AEW World Trios Championships. Parthy, who do you got here?
I don't even think it's so much as about how the Death Riders are going to go down and how quickly or in what order they lose which titles. I think it's about rated FTR and the hints of dissension within FTR in particular. And was it Dax's resentment towards his either Cash or Cope? And they said, well, after the match, we'll talk it over. Well, they're going to have a lot to talk it over if they're not on the same page and they lose this championship match because of it. So I'm seeing that's the direction that they're going. So I'm going with Death Riders to retain.
Mike, I am all along the same page as you, except I think that the Cash anger is the red herring for them to both turn on Copeland. That's what I think ends up happening out of it. Maybe they save that for Dynamite on Wednesday after they hash it out and they decide. I feel like them hashing it out is going to be them deciding, oh, we're not the problem. Our issue is that we started hanging out with Adam and then we start paying attention. And I think that that's where we could be going. Either way, I think that the Death Riders survive yet another day through this match here. And we do see some sort of tease towards further rated FTR dissension after the match.
Yeah, I have them winning because I have other stuff happening on the rest of the show. But let's get into that. Yeah. Oh, no, I just deleted a thing. Oh no.
Deleted.
It's okay. I got that. For now, we'll see who we don't delete. I mean, again, not to say predictable, but like I would almost put my life on it. Like if Omega loses to one of these two, like what the fuck did we even do a comeback for? Like honestly,
I agree.
Like I swear, I don't mean any disrespect. I like Ricochet. I like what he's done in AEW. Speedball Mike Bailey, I'm learning more about, but he's clearly got some talent. But if Omega loses this match, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna make them all look like stars. Like Omega will probably get killed, like something to his sternum that like makes me think he's gonna go back to the hospital. But if he loses this match, I don't even want to say it. I'm done with AEW for a month. I will not look at AEW. I will not talk AEW. I don't care what happens the rest of this card. If Omega loses, I'm out. But what do you guys got? Same thing or any other add-ons?
I think Omega's probably like minus 50,000. There's no way there's odds on any book for that. I agree with that. Do you guys remember early AEW days? I don't remember what pay-per-view it was, but Omega as champion had a 3-way match with Orange Cassidy and Pac. That was kind of like a match that it was kind of like it was just thrown together, and people were like, "Is this going to be like what's going to happen here?" And it turned out to be an incredible 3-way, and they're like, "This was just
I
an
remember that.
exhibition of crazy moves and everything. I think they're just replicating that formula with two guys who, honestly, in my opinion, are just as capable. I mean, Pac is one of the best wrestlers we've seen in our generation, but Speedball and Ricochet are right up there with him, and Orange as well. And so I'm excited to see what with that formula in mind. Like, this is a match where I'm very thankful AEW exists, because this is going to be crazy to see, whether it's regardless of the predictability of it. But yeah, I'm going with Kenny Omega. He's
the final betting odds for AEW Dynasty, courtesy of Bet Online. Kenny Omega minus 3,000. So there you go.
Minus 3,000 even seems a little low. I think minus 10,000 is where it should be for sure.
I mean, short of another diverticulitis emergency like mid-match, yeah, he's pretty much going to retain.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, don't even say that part. AEW, I'll tell you what, they can be fine, but they cannot afford for Mr. Omega to be off TV again, because he can fill 18 to 25 minutes every time. So that's just a huge asset.
Tony Khan, even the other day on the media call, was like, it's so nice to have Kenny Omega back. Everybody loves to see him. He's popping numbers. It's like, yeah, Kenny Omega's, it's nice to have him around.
100%. Not shocking me at all. Absolutely. Okay, I had to delete the heading because I got rid of the heading because I deleted it by accident. But we got the AEW TNT Championship, Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole. I won't make a prediction yet, but I will say that I think this match is going to be the best match of the entire card when it's all said and done. Parthy, start us off. We got Daniel Garcia retaining, or do you have Adam Cole, new AEW TNT champion?
So they've been building this up with previous matches that didn't exactly have a conclusive finish. One match got thrown out because of double DQ because who was it? I forget what even that faction's name was that ran in and basically beat them both up at the same time. Then they went to a time limit draw. It's a typical AEW, two guys are so evenly well matched, they have to have another match. And now they're throwing out, outside interference, supposedly, which they kind of should do for every match, don't you think? But now they're throwing out the time limit as well. Listen, we love our boy DG, okay? Buffalo's own, born and raised, probably re-signed with the AEW just to have a TNT title run. But I don't know about you guys. He hasn't, whether it was the material he's gotten booked with or the matches he's gotten booked with. I mean, going up against Adam Cole is no slouch. But I think, Adam Cole's been back for a few months now. He's one of the guys that was meant to be a superstar here in AEW ever since he debuted, crossed the line. I think they're looking to crown Adam Cole with his first singles championship in AEW. I think the Daniel Garcia TNT experiment is about to come to an end. And I think Adam Cole Bay is going to go over and be the new TNT champion.
Well said, Parthy. I completely agree. I think Adam Cole's walking into All In as a Double or Nothing, and then probably subsequently All In as the TNT champion. But Danny had a great run, and the moment getting it, he well deserved, did good. This has been a fun series of matches. I'm really excited because these guys, they're going to be stuck in a bad spot on this card. I guarantee it, probably like dead center, and they're going to go out there and try to burn the house down. I'm sure they're going to have a great match because of it. So really excited to see what they put together. But yes, I am picking Adam Cole to take the TNT title from our guy Danny Garcia.
Slick has Danny Garcia retaining, and I'm not gonna lie, I was leaning that way. You guys have kind of convinced me, though. I kind of guess I'm sleeping on going into All In. You want to have. I'm not saying Danny Garcia is not a headliner, because I think he could headline. I think he is a low-key sleeper pillar of AEW at this point. With that said, you guys have convinced me. I think Adam Cole is a champion. I forget that, sometimes that Adam Cole is considered by many to be the best wrestler in the world. And unfortunately, I think he got deviled, and then he had the ankle, which was real, I guess, at some point. It was just a really bad streak. So time for Adam Cole to get back professionally doing what he does, which is having 5-star matches and winning championships. So I will go with Adam Cole in this spot, and I will credit that you guys convinced me of that. Oh, we got Matt Boogie go. Mike Bunt never stops. He's not even here, Matt. But anyway,
long show.
Bunt hasn't stopped, but Bunt's still over. Going though.
He's putting him over big time. All right, and we are down to our headlining championships here in AEW, and of course we kick it off with the cinematic queen. AEW's world champion, timeless Toni Storm with Luther versus Megan Bayne. This is the beginning of Toni Storm 2.0 to me. The first was kind of not weighed down by Mariah. I think that's probably the best woman-on-woman feud that AEW's put forth so far when you look at it beginning to end. But this is the time for Toni to kind of show what she's got. Megan Bayne, a great opponent, kind of reminds me of I don't know if you remember, because this is going a little bit back in the vault now for AEW. But Hangman Page became champion, and then he had a match against oh no, what the fuck is his name? Oh no, Lance Archer. And it was on AEW TV, and then Lance Archer like threw him through a table, like he was doing all this shit. I think that's what we're gonna see tonight from Timeless Toni. I think she's gonna make Megan Bayne look like a 10, like a superstar. But I think Toni Storm is gonna find a way to be, doing her thing in the middle of the ring when it's all said and done. Micah, what do you got for this match? Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne.
Yeah, what would you call that thing? It's kind of like when a dog's like laying on the ground and like rolling around. Like that's kind of what
really
she
is rolling around.
You said it perfectly. You laid out the match exactly what I'm thinking. I think Megan Bayne is going to put on a show. Toni's going to sell her ass off for her, and I think Toni escapes with a win. Now, she tried the other night. I was paying close attention to this. She tried with a roll-up on Megan. She didn't win. She got a 2 count with that roll-up that's been so good for her recently. I think she pulls the tights on the roll-up. I think she cheats a little bit to win. And Megan Bayne's going to be real angry about it, but Toni's going to be like, she's a big girl. What am I going to do? I had to win. And then gets it done. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, I'm seeing Toni Storm regardless of who she's facing, even though they've been building up Megan Bayne pretty well. I don't know that. Did they have her talk in like a promo package or something? Because I haven't seen her take a microphone and say one word that I recall.
I think she had a pre-tape where she talked a little bit, but she has not been in on a live mic yet on AEW. No,
she's Ryback status.
Well, they're trying to make Megan Bayne look strong so that when Toni goes over her, in my opinion, that Toni will look even stronger. So, I mean, Toni just got the belt back from Mariah, so I don't think that she's going to be turning around and dropping it anytime soon until at least All In. So I'm saying Timeless Toni Storm retains.
Okay, so we've got Timeless Toni retaining across the board. All right, we are down to our main event. Shout out everybody for tuning in. We got it? All right, we're good. Main event time, AEW World Championship. We've got the leader of the Death Riders, Jon Moxley. The man who does accurately say that he led AEW through a pandemic for sure. Versus Swerve Strickland, former AEW champion before losing it to Danielson at the show of shows for AEW last year. And then who eventually lost it to Moxley and started this reign. So let's go to our head of the table. Parthy, who do you have winning this main event? AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus.
You know what? You guys go first. Michael, why don't you say your piece first?
Okay, I'll kick it off because I've been pretty tame all day, and now I'm ready. I've got my one big take for this show because this match is very interesting, guys. This is what I'm here for today. I'm excited about this card, but it's all leading up. This is going to be the main event. It's all leading up to this. Swerve won last year. We can see the path with Swerve if he wins. We can also kind of see the path with Moxley, Darby or not, if he wins. So I'm interested. There's a lot of factors going into this. The Hangman thing was interesting on Wednesday to bring that in. We assume that he might be involved in this, right? Or they're bringing in Hangman to throw us off the scent here. Because as I've been talking about, guys, we're leading into All In. And if I'm not making my pick yet, if Swerve Strickland's going to win tonight, the goal has to be, if you're booking this, that the Death Riders need to have an angle coming out that is hopefully hotter than what has come, right? Like taking out Moxley, the title from him, does not effectively really end the Death Riders, but it at least advances the angle. I think there's only one way you can do it. I think Danielson comes back tonight and helps Swerve win the title from Moxley. And wow. I think that sets us up for Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing leading into Moxley Danielson 2 at All In, and probably Moxley Danielson 3 at Wrestle Dream. That's my guess.
Well, that's one way to do
Swerve
it.
is winning the title. That is the main point.
That's some classic Micah chaos right
I know
there.
I had one tied up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna
out of this match, we're getting 2 more Moxley Danielson matches.
Yep.
The
I
dude's
think
at
the
home
whole
with
point-
Birdie, bro.
You think Danielson's staying home? He's not staying home, bro. He's not. He's coming back sometime.
He does
That's my
love
guess.
lying.
And he
Cody
loves
Rhodes-
Swerve.
Cody Rhodes
he
taught
loves
him about
Swerve.
lying, and he loves doing it.
Hmm.
Well, Parthy, you ready to go now or what?
Sure, why not? So yeah, this Death Riders thing has gone on longer than people hoped it would, have wished it would. Swerve's a credible champion. Him winning the title at another Dynasty 1 year later would be a nice little mirror. He's a tough guy. He's been presented as a tough guy. You saw him take that shards of glass suplex or whatever the heck they did, and he just rose up from it like the Undertaker with this, Joker smile, like, you think, is that the best you could do? These guys, regardless of what the result is going to be, these guys are a couple of sick MFers, and they're going to want to do some crazy stuff, like, uncomfortably crazy stuff. The match is not no DQ, so I think a ref bump will have to get involved or something. Or maybe they just go to the outside and just fall from a high scaffold onto, thumbtacks or a flaming table. I don't know what the heck is in their crazy minds. But we're going to have to be prepared. Hopefully none of the other matches for a change are going to involve, blood or extracurricular activities or toys from under the ring, because this is the match that really should have it or deserves to have it, and these are the kind of 2 guys that you expect to do that stuff. That being said, people are behind Swerve to take the title off of Jon Moxley, and people like Swerve. He's a credible champion, and it's really time for the Death Riders stuff to end. But
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I'm afraid Jon Moxley still has creative control, and it's still his title to lose when he says he's gonna lose it. And they have carried this thing, and this is probably what Moxley is saying in TK's era, and I've been saying this every time that we had a title match ever since October when Moxley won the title. He is in TK's era saying, no, we got to ride this thing all the way. We got to see it through no matter how hard it is or what people are saying online. Screw them. This is genius. This is I'm not going to play the cinema club because this is not cinema, but I'm pretty sure Moxley believes this is cinema. But they're gonna ride this thing to All In, even if it's not going to be Darby as they probably originally intended, because that's how this whole thing got started. Mox took Darby's title opportunity and kicked him down the stairs, but Darby's busy, going to the top of the world, and so to speak. Regardless of who comes out of the Owen Hart tournament to challenge Jon Moxley, I think Moxley's taking it all the way to All In. So I'm saying Moxley's going to retain. And I just hope they don't do another just bland choke out of Swerve in the middle of the ring like they've been doing for the last 2 or 3 title matches. I hope it's something that, whether it's to end the match or after the match, is going to be just something to try and get some heel heat on Jon Moxley rather than go away heat on Jon Moxley. But I'm saying no one really went over on the go home Dynamite. It was more or less a wash between them. I mean, yeah, the Death Riders got the final, punch in, so to speak, but Swerve, he was up and laughing at him like, haha, you can't hurt me. So no one really, stood tall, so to speak. But I'm saying that Jon Moxley's retaining. I'm sorry.
Now, could that be the moment after a match before you give your prediction, Maniac, where Hangman, if Swerve's getting shit kicked out of him, does Hangman run out?
I'm sorry, I forgot to involve the Hangman thing. Yeah, Hangman is definitely gonna make his presence known in this match at some point, but I think it's gonna, to make a long story short, I think he's gonna go down with the intention of wanting to interfere and prevent Swerve from winning the title, but he'll think better of it or just have second thoughts about it, and maybe he thinks he wants to cost Swerve the title, and then he changes his mind, but just his presence somehow maybe cost Swerve the title anyway, and he's like, oh my God, what have I done here? But anyway, go ahead, Maniac.
Micah, 2 more Moxley Danielson matches. I mean, my goodness.
Listen,
the Micah genome.
You-
I'm literally going to call Timothy Micah after this show and just ask what on earth was going on in this household.
I guarantee. You know what he would say?
You guys,
he would say,
yeah,
I'm down. He'd say, I'm down.
Yeah,
He'd love it.
exactly. He was
No.
probably like he was probably ingesting 2000 WCW.
Well, we discussed this all yesterday. This is a whole brainchild. This is a messenger.
Wait, you discussed it with him?
Yes. Well, I came up with the plan. We had a thing back and forth. This is what I came up with. This was our booking. Maybe not 2, but at least it's getting 1. He's getting the win back.
I don't know. Maniac, I think you're on the mute monster here.
He's literally at home with his family, bro. He's done.
He's not fully retired. He's set.
He's not fully retired. But
Danielson literally went out the exact way he went out, which is literally a fucking body bag, dude.
He's never gonna retire, bro.
Listen, I don't disagree with you that Danielson at some point will make his presence known, but I think, like everything else we've been talking about, you got to wait until the climactic WrestleMania moment. You got to wait until a stadium show. You got to wait until All In Texas.
Yes. And we will begin the wrap up for my prediction here on. Oh wait, hold on. For my prediction in the main event, so with Swerve and Hangman, they are gonna get you right in the moment where Hangman will absolutely have the opportunity to win the match for Swerve, or something. But he's gonna come down and he's just gonna literally start beating the shit out of Swerve, dude. Hangman is literally like PTSD. He is not like the reason he stormed away was because he didn't want to accept it. It was Swerve tried for 1 second to be the right guy, and now Swerve's on the right side of this feud because he did admit that he had wrongdoing. That was massive in the overall storyline. But yeah, if Hangman comes in at all, it's going to be to beat the shit out of Swerve, and the air is going to get sucked out of the arena for something. At the end of the day,
Go ahead. Sorry.
You know, I want to pick Swerve so bad, but Moxley and the Death Riders are now at a point where it's almost like picking against Roman Reigns in his heyday.
Yes.
Where I mean, if I'm just being a logical, selector and a picker, there's a better chance that Moxley somehow retains versus Swerve. So I will absolutely be rooting for Swerve. I will be pulling with all my might and all my wrestling emotion for it. But Mike, absolute madman producing you and Mo. But yes, I think that Moxley somehow wins. And by the way, if this builds to Darby at all, AEW, I mean, they might be out of business in like 20 years. They're not going to be out of business in 5 years, like the chat loves to say. But I mean, we can't be waiting around for Darby Allin at this point. Like,
yeah,
he's on Everest. Like, Everest is the priority, not AEW. Like, so at the end of the day, like, listen, that's fine, but like, don't like build your whole company around that guy because he's definitely not enough of a draw to do that.
Have you guys seen the reports from Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful that Swerve's family tonight is in attendance? Now, you might think at first, like I saw on the surface, that, if his family's in attendance, maybe something big is going down. Swerve's winning the title. But I think they're in attendance for a different reason. I think they're in attendance to make people feel uncomfortable with whatever Moxley's going to do to Swerve.
Moxley's going to like literally have like a Swerve in a body bag in front of him. It's going to be terrible.
Oh, they'll be in front row hard cam side, I believe.
Yes, for sure. All righty. Well, thank you for tuning in with us. Slick also did have Swerve as his pick. So Micah and Slick are on Swerve. Myself and Partham are on Moxley to retain. So we are looking forward to a big AEW Dynasty. Again, big show for AEW, but thank you for tuning into our show here on Wrestling with Emotion. We'll be back this Wednesday with another show, but till then, let's have a great Dynasty and let's have a good night now on the show where it's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion.